Greetings, this is Brother Thabiti once again. We're going to be doing trigonometry, okay? Finding the missing degree of an angle. Sometimes before we were finding out the missing length of a triangle, which was done a different way. But if we're trying to find out the degree angle and they're not giving us anything for the degrees here, how are we going to find out what is the unknown angle, unknown measurement here? Well, the way we do that, first of all, we're going to do it just the way we did the other ones. We're going to label the sides first. And so the first thing we do is find out the hypotenuse. It's very easy because it's right across from the box here. So we look across here, we see the hypotenuse. So we'll go ahead and make that hypotenuse. And then the next thing we want to look at is we want to look at the reference point, which is right here. That's going to tell us where the other angle is going to be. And remember, the hypotenuse and the hypotenuse and the adjacent angle are right next to each other, especially when you have the degree box right here. So these are actually one angle. This is going to be adjacent. That's hypotenuse, and obviously the last one over here is, yes, opposite. Okay, all right, when we're doing a challenge like this, we're only concerned about two main things, and that's which side already has a measurement. And we look here, we have adjacent has a measurement of 12 here. And on this side, we look at the hypotenuse has a measurement of 13. So what we have is we have A and we have H. So which one of the trig ratios here is A and H? Okay, great. We're looking at this one right here, right? Cosine, which is A over H. So let's go ahead and we already labeled the side, so this is already done. Now we want the trig ratio, A over H. Well, what are we using? Well, yes, we're using cosine, so we're just going to go ahead and put cosine there. Now the last thing, it says ratio fraction. What that means is, what is cosine? Yeah, it is A over H, and let's go ahead and define all of that. A over H equals, and let's be specific on what we're talking about. What is A? We said adjacent was the measurement of, yes, 12. And we said H was a measurement of, yes, 13. Okay, so we keep our challenge moving here. Now the next thing, it says trig ratio. We already know the trig ratio, which is sine, cosine, or tangent. We just said what that was, so that's the next thing we want to list here. So yes, we got cosine x equals, and now they want to know the fraction here. So yes, the fraction is right there, so just rewrite that, 12 over 13. Okay, and then step 4 says we're going to do our trig ratio, which we know is cosine. Then it says a -1 here, so we're going to go -1, and then we're going to put in parentheses whatever the fraction is, and we already said that one was 12 over 13, right? 12 over 13. Now the next, and this is what's called inverse operation. This is the opposite of cosine here, so we have -1. So this is called inverse operation. Okay, so we have cos -1, and we need to use this in order to find out that unknown degree right there. Okay, so now we got to go to our scientific calculator. So go ahead and go to your scientific calculator. I'm gonna go to mine. All right, and this is one that I like. It's called Meta Calculator, and it has a graphing calculator, scientific calculator, matrix calculator, statistics calculator. And what we're using today is we're going to just use the scientific calculator. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on that. And then I'm going to go down here to start the calculator. Click that. And the key thing to look at is when you first turn the calculator on, it's going to be in radians, but you need degree mode. So we're just going to push this little tab here and put it in degree mode. So now it's in degree mode, and now our calculator is ready, and we just have to input our information. So we want to find out what is cos -1 and then 12 over 13. So the first thing you want to do is, since this is the opposite of sine, we want to go ahead and do invert. Once we click on the invert here, now the sine, cosine, and tangent are all negatives here. And this is what we want. And so since we said for this particular challenge is cosine, we're going to go ahead and put cosine -1. Just click that. And you see it appeared up here. And then now we want to go ahead and put the fraction in there, which is 12 over 13. But we got to put those in parentheses. So it already gives us the first parentheses, but we're going to have to close the last one. So we go ahead and put 12. And go ahead and put our little division sign. 13. And we have to close it here. And then we just push equal sign. And we have 22.619. And remember, all we're looking at is the 2 digits after the decimal point. If the second digit after the decimal point is higher than 5, we got to go up to 2.7. If it's lower than 5, which this is, it's 1, that means it stays at 22.6 degrees. And so our answer will be 22.6 degrees. We go back here. So when we look at what we did, we said cos -1, and then we had the 12 over the 13. We put that in our calculator right here, right? And then we did that. We got x equals 22.6 degrees. All right? So that is our final answer on that particular challenge. Good job. All right, let's do another one. All right, this next challenge here, still we're going to be doing, we're going to be finding out the missing degree angle. And so the first thing we want to do, as it says here, is we want to label the sides here. So let's go ahead and label the sides. First thing, let's find out the hypotenuse. It's pretty much the easiest thing to do, which is going to be directly across from this right angle box here. So we know that that's going to be your hypotenuse. And then we know that the degree angle here shares a side, so we know that this is going to be adjacent right here, right? That's a reference. And then down here, the last one is going to be, yes, opposite. Okay, then the next thing we want to do is look at the two angles here that are two sides here, excuse me, that have measurements. And we know we have opposite here of 3. And we have adjacent also has 3. So we're talking about O and A. So which one of the sine ratios is O and A? Yes, it is tangent. So we're going to go tan. And then what is the ratio of tan? Yes, it's O over A. And let's define that. What is that? What is O over A in this particular challenge we're doing right now? What is O? Both of them are 3, so we can just put 3 over 3, right? All right. So our next move is going down here to the trig ratio. Now what they're asking for is what if the trig ratio? We already know that's tan, so we just put tan. So we have tan x equals 3 over 3. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to write the trig ratio -1 and then put the fraction down. So we'll write it like this, tan. So we're going to put tan. Then it says -1, so we're going to go ahead and put our -1. And then in parentheses, we're going to go ahead and put our fraction here, which is 3 over 3. Just like we did in the previous one. Once you have these steps down, you'll see this is not very hard at all. It's very, very simple. Okay, so now we need to go to our scientific calculator. We did everything else, and now we're going to use these numbers to go ahead and solve this. So let's go ahead and go to our scientific calculator to go ahead and solve this. Okay, so let's go ahead. Okay, here's our scientific calculator. So the first thing we want to do is go ahead and clear off what we had in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead to tan -1, which we see is down here at the bottom, tan. And then we're going to go ahead and it already gives us our first opening of the fraction, so we can just put 3 over 3. So 3, we have our division sign here, 3. Let's close it up and let's put equal sign, and we have an even, yes, 45 degrees. So we can go back to our challenge here. So yes, so once we put this in the calculator, those numbers there, we just did it, and we got x equals 45 degrees, and that's it. Give yourself a round of applause.